The last part of verse 14, Mordecai posed one last question to Esther. Have you ever thought that maybe God bless you for such a time as this? I got a question for all the blessed folk in here today. Yeah, you blessed. God done a lot of things for you. You done came so much further from where your parents and your grandparents were. You can walk in any door. Young brother came up to me last night. Michelle, you remember that brother came up to you talking about your husband this and your husband that? Tell me when he walk in a meeting, talking about just people just seeing. You blessed. People respect you. Got a simple question. Do you think that God allowed you to be in that position for such a time as this? You skinning and grinning and hobnobbing with people that you know ain't got your best interest in heart? And the reason they keep doing it, because you accept them. I don't pet snakes. I don't laugh when the joke ain't funny. I don't scratch when I don't itch. But we sitting around here hobnobbing and chilling and just rubbing elbows with folk that we know ain't got our best interests at heart. Because we just so happy just to be at the table. And I don't want to risk anything. You ain't at the table if they can kick you out. You ain't at the table if they can kick you out. And if you knew who your God was, you would create a table that they would scratch and scurry to sit at because they know your power. Yvette and Lena, we'd be worthless if we sat on that board and just happy because the commissioners, because they thought that we were deserving. No, they ain't have no choice because our God made them put us there. And they ain't gonna get no pass because they voted for us. While I'm here, you're gonna hear my truth. I ain't trying to get the next appointment. I ain't trying to get my name lifted up in lights. I don't need you to pat me on the back. Matter of fact, get your hand off me. I don't need anything from you. God put me here for such a time as this. There's some folk under the sound of my voice. God has elevated you for such a time as this. God has given you influence for such a time as this. God has placed you in some spaces for such a time as this. 57 years ago in Memphis, Tennessee, the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King, he concluded a speech in Mason Temple, which these words. Now it does not matter. It does not matter. It really does not matter what happens now. I left Atlanta this morning, and as we got started on the plane, there were 6 of us, the pilot said over the public address system, we are sorry for the delay, but we have Dr. Martin Luther King on the plane. And to be sure that all the bags were checked and to be sure that nothing would be wrong with the plane, we had to check out everything carefully, and we've had the plane protected and guarded all night. And then I got into Memphis, and some began to say threats and talk about the threats that were out. What would happen to me or some of our sick white brothers? Well, I don't know what will happen now. We've got some difficult days ahead of us. But it doesn't matter with me now because I've been to the mountaintop. And I don't mind. Like anybody, I would like to live a long life. Longevity has its place, but I'm not concerned about that now. I just want to do the will of God, and he's allowed me to go up to the mountain. and I've looked over the mountain, and I've seen the promised land. I may not get there with you, but I want you to know tonight that we as a people will get to the promised land. Well, I stopped by Greater Bethel this morning to talk to my fellow Jews that we as a people, we might not live a long life. We might have to leave this place early, but if we understand that when God opens a door, when God allows space, how do we not know that God has given us this opportunity for such a time as this? I don't care about Ron DeSantis. I don't care about Gates. I don't care about Donald Trump or his VP. I don't care about Clarence Thomas. What I'm telling you, that we as a people, when we stick together, when we serve God, when we stand up and hold up the bloodstained banner, that we as a people will get to the promised land. Somebody say yeah. I don't care what they say about you. The Bible says that we are formed in the image of God. The Bible says that no weapon formed against you shall prosper. I challenge you to hold hands, to stand up together, 10 toes down, and trust that God will do just what God says. Somebody say yeah. Somebody say yeah. We as a people are from strong stock. We as a people are from good stock. And God says if we trust him and look to the hills from whence cometh our help, we'll realize that all our help comes from the Lord. Somebody say yeah. Reclaim your streets. Reclaim your neighborhoods. Reclaim your dignity. Somebody say yeah. The same dignity that Mary McLeod Bethune walked in. The same dignity that Carter G. Woodson walked in. The same dignity that Martin Luther King walked in. The same dignity that Malcolm X walked in. The same dignity that Nat Turner walked in. Somebody say yeah. Somebody say yeah. We as a people